President Trump was never, ever going to get us into a nation-building project in Iran. That was never. Have you met President Trump? Have you watched him for the last 10 years? What unbelievable lack of faith it shows in President Trump for people to suggest that Trump, of all people, was going to get us into World War III on a nation-building exercise in the Middle East. Are you out of your damned mind? And I think that it's actually worthwhile to replay the footage of the people who said this sort of stuff, because perhaps you should take their opinions with a grain of salt. Perhaps you should not take them quite so seriously when they claim that they know what the hell they're talking about. If you got this one this wrong, that does raise some questions about just how seriously we ought to take you on matters of the factual. Here's just a small slice of some of the people who claimed that this entire situation, that Israel bombing the Iranian nuclear facilities or American support for that, or America doing a B-2 raid, that was somehow going to lead to World War III. Just a few of these folks.
A war with Iran is a world war. This is not 2002. Iran is now part of a coalition that includes the biggest economies in the world and the largest militaries in the world. So a war with Iran means a war in effect, or, by proxy, but still a war with Russia, China, Turkey, and a lot of the rest of the world. So that's a world war. It's not just as simple as we're going to take out their nuclear facilities. Okay. How are you going to do that?
In the next 200 days, are some of the most perilous times for the American Republic in its history. Because if we don't get this sorted, we're going to be drawn in totally into a conflict as a combatant.
And if it's not Ukraine, it's Israel or someone else. There's so many. Our foreign policy is so suborned, so much not in America's interest, so much used by the military-industrial state or particular lobbies in favor of particular places. We could be yanked into war for absolutely no consequential reasons whatsoever.
This war, which we do not need to fight, which is not in our interest, has the potential to be devastating to our country, let alone the region. What is the moral relativism in any of that?
Do you think that we are moving toward war with Iran?
Yes, I do. And it looks like the chosen destination is indeed Armageddon. There doesn't seem to be any real appreciation for the implications for us and frankly, for Europe and the world, as well as the Middle East.
Whatever you put the risk at here, which if this thing keeps escalating, the risk of this going to a real ground war, another war in the war on terrorism, let me be very clear when I say this. I don't know that America will survive this. We went into the terror wars in a much stronger place than we're going into this one. And this is a much tougher opponent than Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi. We didn't go into the terror wars $37 trillion in debt. We didn't go into the terror wars with the cultural and political and racial divides. We have mass protests in the streets right now over Donald Trump trying to enforce his immigration policy. This is going to be, this has the potential to be an utter disaster.
America cannot have a war with Iran, by the way. It would lead to a regional war. It would be costly, bloody, threatening.
I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire, obviously. Other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran.
These are the people who kept telling you it was going to be World War III. And there are lots of them, lots and lots of people who are telling you it was going to be World War III.